Hi, Nitish Matthew here, and I'm here to talk to you about the crossover between personal development at work and at home. In my practice of coaching and counseling people over the years, personal development does certainly cross over between the workplace and between personal life. As much as we'd love to compartmentalize these two spheres of work and personal life, it's really hard to do, and they do cross over. And the problem with it is that sometimes we tend to over compartmentalize instead of relying on the giftings from each sphere of life. I believe that we can cross them over effectively, and that could lead to exciting, challenging cross pollination between the two spheres. The crossover skills from personal to work life and work life into personal life can also lead to creating new associations and frameworks that yield growth spiritually and existentially. Let me talk to you about crossover between personal development to work development. And here are two tips that way. Worship and experience joy in the Lord is the first tip. Psalm 37:4. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Have an attitude of glorifying the Lord in your personal development, and God will direct your work to be in line with his will. This is a tried and true thing, and the scriptures tell us that we are to worship him and we experience God's joy when we do have an attitude of worship towards God. And God will give us the desires of our heart, and so that we will be doing his will on this earth. Second tip I have here is, in terms of the crossover between personal development to work development, is replace old habits with godly habits. It's not enough to just stop doing things that take away from the Lord, or stop watching as much TV, for example. But it is important to put on the new self. That is, put on God's righteousness and holiness. When workplace banter and temptations come, you'll be better able to stand strong with new habits that have been put on through Christ. Ephesians 4:22-23 says, "You were taught with regard to your former way of life to put off your old self, which is being corrupted by its deceitful desires, to be made new in the attitude of your minds, and to put on the new self, created to be like God in true righteousness and holiness." The second principle means we put on godly habits. We take on the things that God has commanded us to do rather than just stop doing the things that we know are sinful. And so that's an area of personal development that can easily translate into the workplace to protect you, to guide you, to create new habits that make you effective as a person in the workplace. And now I want to talk about tips related to crossover between work development to personal development. First tip is something that is very important in the workplace is goal setting, often a requirement in the work setting. Set goals for you for your personal development as well. Incorporate spiritual disciplines in your daily walk with Christ. Create goals to achieve greater things for God's glory in your personal life. The Apostle Paul lived with purpose and mission to demonstrate God's love for others. Philippians 3:4, I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. Second tip that is here in terms of work development transferring over to personal development is training and development. In the workplace, modeling, apprenticeships, training programs are so ubiquitous that we do not even question whether they are necessary anymore in the workplace. Training and development programs are so common in practically every Fortune 500 company. There are actually, in some of these big companies like New York Life or Amazon, there are actually big departments dedicated to learning. The Apostle Paul talked about training and development spiritually, and he talked about modeling and learning from him personally. Philippians 4:9 says, whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with you. So, friends, get a Christian counselor, pastor, spiritually mature friend to help mold you further to be like Christ. God gives us many spiritual guides if we are willing to accept their wisdom and counsel and apply it to our lives so that God's active peace will surround us and make us more than able to handle life's curveballs. Thank you, and this is Nitish Matthew encouraging you today. Be blessed. Bye-bye.